Okay, right. So we are discussing this interactive reporting. Okay, interactive classical reporting. So what we have done yesterday is we have generated the selection screen. Okay, I'm using a different server. Okay, I'm using a different server. So I've changed the customer range. Yesterday I gave the customer range as something 1000 to 1010. Okay, here I'll give a different customer range. One second. Yeah, I'll use this customer range. Okay, otherwise let me use. Yeah, I'll use this customer range 10 to 300 something. What 140 10 to 130 300. Let me check whether we'll get the data or not. Okay, right. So when I execute, this is my customer range. When I execute, yeah, I got the customer data between this particular range. So what was our requirement? When I double click on this, when I double click on any of the what field, okay, anywhere on the line, okay, I should display the corresponding what customer sales orders data. So what we have done here, we understood yesterday that whenever we click on that, whenever we click on anywhere on the list, the event triggered is what outline selection. Okay, so we are doing the interaction in the basic list. Then the index of the next list is what 1. So what I am doing here, I am comparing with the system field list index. When 1, what I am doing here, we know that we have a system field SY-LISCL which will store the content of what entire line. From that line, we are extracting what? From that line, we are extracting the. Excuse me, please. Yeah, from that line, we are extracting the customer number part by using this is called as what offset logic. Okay, extracting the portion of the string, we call it as what offset logic. So this is the entire system field which stores the entire line. From that line, starting from the index 0, we are extracting what 20 characters. Why we are extracting the 20 characters? When I am displaying the customer number, okay, I reserve some 20 spaces. I reserve some 20 spaces for the customer number field. That is the reason the first 20 characters of any line is what customer number. That's why we're extracting what 20 characters. So the customer number will come and set in v underscore punna. So now let me execute this. So when I double click anywhere, if I double click on this domestic, what is the corresponding customer number 151 some 00003. So let me double click on this. I got the customer number, but we are not interested in displaying the customer number. We are interested in displaying the sales orders of the given customer. So for this customer, I need to check whether any sales orders are available or not. So where you have to check it in the VBAK table. Okay, so what I'll do now, each customer might contain 0 or 1 or more sales orders. So since the customer may contain multiple sales orders, what I'll do is I require one internal table related to what sales orders header fields. What are the fields we require? We require some sales order number, creation date, creation time, and here a name. All these are what? These are the fields of what VBAK table. So let us declare one internal table. So I'll go to the variable declaration include. I'll declare one internal table into sales document header data. So I'll say types begin of ty underscore VBAK. I'll take some fields here, VBLN type, VBAK hyphen, VBLN, then I'll take another field, ERDAT. Yeah, so I'm declaring the fields related to what? Sales order header data, ERDAT, ERZET, type VBAK-ERZET. Then I'll declare another field ERNAME, type VBAK-ERNAME. Then I'll say end of for TY underscore VBAK, end of TY underscore VBAK. Then I'll say data T underscore. Okay, I'll do one thing. Instead of giving VBAK, let me give meaningful name. I'll give it as TY underscore sales orders. Here also I'll say end of for TY underscore sales orders. Sales orders done. Then here I'll say T underscore sales orders. T underscore sales orders type table of for TY underscore sales orders. Then let me declare work area W underscore sales orders, type TY underscore sales orders. Done. So I declared an internal table and what? Work area. Then activate this include, go back to your main program. So here, so I got the extracted customer number in which field? V underscore Kunna. So instead of displaying the customer number, based on that customer number, I need to get what? Sales order. So I'll say here, if V underscore Kunnar is not blank, if it is not initial, what I'll do, if the customer number is not initial, I need to get the sales orders for the selected customer. Okay, so get sales orders for the selected customer. Get the sales orders for the selected customer. So I'll call one subroutine here, perform. I'll give the subroutine name as something get sales orders. Let us define this subroutine. Double click on this. Subroutine does not exist. Create the object. Done. So I'll choose what I'll choose this include, where I'm using this include for defining the subroutines. Continue. Okay. So here I'll say select the VBLN, ERDAT, ERZDT, ERNAM from which table? VBAK table into internal table. What is the internal table? I declared T underscore what? Sales orders. What is the common field between VBAK table and KNA1 table? Customer number. Yesterday we have seen this. So where customer number equal to the selected customer. Where is the selected customer in our variable V underscore Kunna? Understood? The common field between VBAK table and KNA1 table is what? Customer number. So I am writing the select query to get the sales orders from VBAK table into our internal table, comparing with the customer number field. Done. So now I'll say if what is that internal table? T underscore sales orders. If T underscore sales orders is not initial, if the internal table is not blank, what I'll do? I'll call one subroutine, perform display what? Sales orders. I need to define this subroutine to display the sales orders. Else I'll just give a message. Message what? No sales orders. No sales orders for the selected customer. No sales orders for the selected customer. Type what? I. End F. Okay. Let me define the subroutine. I'll double click on the subroutine. Does not exist. Create the object. I'll create that in the main program. In the include program does not exist. Yeah. So loop the internal table and just display the sales orders. So loop at T underscore sales orders into what? W underscore what? Sales orders. Loop underscore sales orders into so and so end loop. Display the data from the work area. W underscore sales orders hyphen what is the field name? VBLN. Let us display the other fields also. ERDAT, next ERZDT, next ERNAM. Done. So I got the I'm displaying the data. Can execute this. First, let me execute, then I'll explain once again. When I say F8, then this is my customer data displayed. I'll just click on this. No sales orders for the selected customer. Okay, I'll click on something, this one, by company itself. No sales orders for the selected customer. I'll click on this file. No sales orders for the selected customer. No sales orders for the selected customer. I'm not getting the data. Okay. No sales orders for the selected customer. I'll do one thing. Let me sort this internal table. Let me sort this customer table before displaying it. Here I'll say sort T underscore customers by customer number. I'm sorting it based on the customer number, then I'll display. So I may have the data in the sorted order now. Now let me try to display. I'll double click on this 50. No sales order for selected customer. Okay, I'm not getting the data for any of the customers. So first of all, what I'll do is, this is the range I give. This is the range I give. I want to check whether this customer has got any sales orders in the VBAK table. So what I'll do first, I'll go to VBAK table. This is my VBAK table. I'll go to contents, right? So here, let me filter based on what? Customer number. What is the range I gave here? In my program, I gave the range as what? This one. 14010. 14010 to, what is the upper limit I give? Something like this. Done. Let me give the range. Okay, so this is the range I gave in my selection script. Let me check whether this customer range has got any sales orders or not. Okay, I'll click number of entries. Oh, how many are there? 4,946. One second. Let me change the range here. But why I didn't got them? How many are there? 4,946 sales orders are there. Let me execute. It is showing all these fields. Okay, let me display only the customer number and sales orders. I'll choose format list, choose fields. I'm not interested in all the fields. Let me deselect. I'll select Weblen. Then what is the other field we are interested with? Customer number. Yeah, this is the data available. But why I'm not getting, we need to do the analysis. Okay, I'll do one thing. Instead of giving this much range, let me give only up to this. Yeah, I'll take this only. So between 1000010 to 1000050, how many sales orders are there? Some 6 sales orders are there. Let me see it. Yeah, all are for 50 only. I'll do one thing. Let me give it for 80. Yeah, between this range, how many sales orders are there? 6 sales orders. Done. Okay, I got the sales orders. Fine. Let me go and change the range here also. So here also in my program, I'll explain. So just wait. Here I'll give the range as, let me activate, right? So when I execute, so in the VBA hit table, you can observe between this range, lower limit to upper limit. How many sales orders are there? 6 sales orders. At least, okay, these are the 6 sales orders. All these 6 sales orders relate to which customer? 1 triple 0 to 50, something like this. Okay, so let me try to display the same thing here. This is my customer data done. Now, if I click on this 50, okay, if I click on this 50 or anywhere on this line, I should get that 6 sales orders now. Yes, other customers doesn't have what sales orders, but at least 50 has got the sales orders. Let me double click on this. No sales orders for the selected customer. Okay, even if I double click directly on that customer number, I'm not getting any sales orders. But if you see the VBAK table, okay, see once again in the VBAK table, what is the customer number range I'm giving? 1000010 to 1000080. Between this range, when I try to see the sales order, 6 sales orders. Okay, when I execute, all these 6 sales orders belong to which customer? 10000 to 50. Okay, so what is our expectation now? This is my customer data. Okay, all these 6 customers, all this remaining customer doesn't have data, but this 50 has got what? 6 sales orders now. So at least I should get that 6 sales orders. Okay, when I double click, it is saying that no sales orders for the selected customer. So can anyone tell me what could be the problem? Okay, if you debug, will understand, but quickly, can anyone tell me what could be the reason why I'm not getting the sales orders? I'll repeat once again, then you can tell. In the VBAK table, between the customer range, this lower limit to upper limit, when I'm trying to check the sales orders, it is showing 6 sales orders. When I try to display, it is showing me that 6 sales orders. All these 6 sales orders belong to only one customer. What is that customer? 1000050. So in my basic list also, when I execute my program, there is a selection screen. I gave the customer range. When I execute, yes, I got these customers here. Now, anywhere on this list, if I double click, we know that what is the event triggered outline selection. Okay, so the next index of the next list is what? One. This index is what? This list is what? Basic list. The index is 0. Okay, so when I double click on this 50, I should get that 6 sales orders in the next list now, but I'm not getting. So what could be the problem? Anyone?
List index.
Hello?
I think the list index.
List index is one correct only. No problem. We are in the basic list. We are in the basic list. The index is 0. The index of the next list is 1 only. Na? So in this outline selection event, SY-LSIND will store the index of the next list only.
Yeah.
So can anyone tell me where could be the reason problem? Okay, see here. I'll debug. Just try to focus. I'll put the breakpoint here. Right. So this is my what range I gave in my selection screen. Done. F8. Then I got the customer data. We are not bothered about that. Now I'll double click on this anywhere on this line, 50 or this D or John, wherever it is. Okay. Let me double click on John. Okay. And double click. It is going to trigger what event? Outline selection event. We have performed the action on which list? Basic list. Okay. We have performed the action on basic list. What is the index of the basic list? 0. Okay. And whenever we double click, what is the event triggered? Outline selection. So outline selection. Let me go to desktop 3. Yeah. Outline selection. So we have performed the action in the basic list whose index is what? 0. What is the index of the next list? 1 only in the second list. So if you see the value of SY-LSIND, what is that? 1. Okay. In outline selection event, this SY-LSIND will store the index of the next list. Yes, it is 1 only. Done. Okay, I'll say F5. When statement is satisfied, it is coming inside. Done. So I double clicked on John now. So the content of the entire line is stored in which field? SY-LI SCL. So if you see here, SY-LI contains what? It contains a combination of what is this? Customer number, that vertical line, country key, what else? Country key, and the name, all this. So it contains the content of the entire line, but we are not interested in the entire line. We are interested only in the customer number. So if you see the V underscore Kunnar as of now blank. So what I'm doing here, I'm writing some offset logic. This is called as what? Offset logic. What do you mean by offset logic? From a main string, if you want to extract the portion of a string, we'll go for what? Offset logic, or we call it a substring. Portion of a string is called a substring. So what I'm doing, from this entire content, starting from the index 0, the index of the string starts from what? 0. Starting from the index 0, extract how many characters? 20 characters. Why 20 characters? Why 20 characters? Because when I'm displaying, I reserve some 20 spaces. I reserved some 20 spaces for the customer number. That's why I'm extracting what 20 spaces of value. So when I say F5, what is the value I got in V underscore Kunnar? 1, so on, so on. So only customer number I got. Done. Okay. Now if V underscore Kunnar is not initial, yes, it is not initial. Done. Okay. I'm what calling the subroutine perform get sales orders F5. Done. So now we are about to execute the select statement. We are about to get the sales orders from the what VBAK table. So in the database table just now we have seen related to this 50, how many sales orders are there? 6 sales orders are there. Try to understand. Related to this 50, there are 6 sales orders. So this T underscore sales orders also should contain how many sales orders? 6 sales orders. So I'm about to execute the select statement. Select statement should be successfully executed. Size of RC should be set to 0 and it has to fetch how many sales orders? 6 sales orders. Okay. But see here, see the problem. What is the value of V underscore Kunnar? V underscore Kunnar is what? 1000050. 1000050. But if you observe the database table VBAK, this customer number is stored in what format? Overall customer number is what? Character of 10. Overall, the width of the customer number is character of 10. So in what format it is stored? 000100050. But in my variable, what is the value? It is having what? 1000050. So when I say F5, before executing the select statement, what is the value of size of RC? 0. Let me execute now. I'll say F5. Done. Size of RC is what? 4. Means my select statement execution is failed. Why it is failed? Because in the table, in the VBAK table, the customer number is what? Character of 10. And what is the data stored here? 000100050. Overall 10 characters. But here in my variable it is stored as what? 1000050. That's why my select is failed. So since the select is failed, what happened next step? If T underscore sales orders is not initial, if it is not empty, but it is empty only now, it is still 0. So control goes to the else part and I'll get the message what? No sales orders for what? Selected customer. I got that message. Understood? So the problem is in my variable it is stored as what? 100000050, but in the table it is character of 10. It is stored as 000100050. So can anyone tell me what is the adjustment I need to do? Anyone? Correct. So what I have to do, Vamshi? What I have to do? Concatenate zeros before customer. How many zeros I have to concatenate? 3. How do you know that? Why only 3? Length is 10. Okay. So what we are trying to say is in our variable v underscore kunnar, the value is stored something like this. Okay. So by debugging, we understood that it is only what? 7. That's why you are saying to concatenate how many zeros? 3 zeros. 3 zeros. Okay. Suppose, assume that some of the customers are like this. how many zeros? No, not this. Some of the customers are like this. Yeah, how many customers have to, how many zeros have to concatenate now? How many zeros have to concatenate now? Is this 8? Okay, how many zeros have to concatenate? 2 zeros, right? If the V underscore kunnar is something like this, what is the width here? 8. So since it is 8, I need to concatenate what? 2. But this is not wrong, right? Because you don't know what data is this, what data is stored in V underscore kunnar. Okay, dynamically I should decide how many zeros I have to concatenate, whether it is 1 0, 2 0, I don't know. So how do we do it? You understood my question, all of you? Yes, how do we do it? In this case, by looking at the debugging, we understood that it is 7. So we are saying that to concatenate 3 zeros. But if my customer is stored like this, okay, so 8 is already filled. So I need to concatenate about 2 zeros. So how do we decide that? Anyone? Vamshi, you understood my question? Is if there is a conversion routine, we can pass kunna to conversion, then we will get total. Like good. Okay. So there are many ways we can do that. So what I'll do is, yeah, see here. If V underscore kunnar is not initial, I have to get the sales orders now. So somewhere here, I'll say, I'll say unpack. I'll say unpack V underscore kunnar to V underscore kunnar. Unpack V underscore kunnar to V underscore kunnar. Let me check it. Save. Check it. No syntax error. Done. Okay, let me debug and check what that unpack is doing. So here I'll put the breakpoint. So when I execute, right, let me double click on this John. That line selection event is triggered. Let me move to desktop 3. So if you see V underscore Kunnar, right, I'm extracting the portion of the string. When I say F5, I got something like this. If V underscore Kunnar is not initial, if it is not blank, yes, I'm trying to get the sales order. So see here, before I execute the select statement, I'm saying what unpack V underscore Kunnar to V underscore Kunnar. So V underscore Kunnar is what type KNA1-Kunnar. V underscore Kunnar is type KNA1-Kunnar. Okay, so type KNA1-Kunnar means it is referring to the database field whose width is character of 10. So as of now, it is stored something like this. So when I say unpack, see what happens to this variable. When I say F5, then it has prefixed automatically what? 3 zeros. It has prefixed automatically 3 zeros. Now I am trying to execute the select query. As of now, my internal table contains 0 entries. So when I say F5, then I got how many sales orders here? Yes, 6 sales orders. Size hours is what? 0. Select is successfully executed. So if it is successfully executed, if the internal table is not blank, I am calling a subroutine where I am looping the internal table and displaying the data. So when I say F5, F8, I got the sales orders of the selected customer. Hope it's clear to everyone. Unpack function. So what this unpack function will do is, depending on the width of the variable, v underscore kunnar is declared as what? Kn1 kunnar. What is the actual width of Kn1 kunnar? Character of what? 10. So what happens? It will what? It will concatenate the sufficient required number of zeros. Okay, at the beginning of that particular value. This is one way. This is one way. What I used here, unpack. Instead of using unpack, I'll say if you go to SC37 function builder, we already discussed some standard function models. Okay, we already discussed some standard function models. Yeah. So if you go to function builder, SE37, we have a function module conversion underscore exit underscore, what is that? Alpha to inputter, alpha to what? Input. What is that? I forgot. Yeah. Right. So here conversion exit alpha input. So if you see here conversion exit alpha external to internal. So what does it do here? It takes some input. It takes some input and returns that output. It will do some conversion based on that input value. It will return that conversion underscore exit underscore alpha underscore what input. So what I'll do now is here instead of using unpack function, I'll call that function model. I'll go to pattern. This is a function model. Done. Input equal to where what is the input v underscore sorry input equal to v underscore kunnar. Okay, it is going to return something. I'll import it in the same variable. Output equal to v underscore what kunnar. Okay, v underscore kunnar. So now save it, check for the syntax. Done. Right. So see the purpose of this conversion alpha input. So when I put the breakpoint here once again, observe this. I'll double click on somewhere on John. At line selection event is triggered. Control is going to the debugging mode in the desktop 3. I'm extracting the customer number. So if you see v underscore Kunar, it is stored something like this. Now I'm calling this subroutine to fetch the sales orders. Before I do that, I'm calling some function model. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm passing v underscore Kunar. It will do some conversion internally. It will do some conversion internally and returns that particular value. I'm receiving that value in the same variable. So when I say F5 now, where is the control now? It is about to call the function model. When I say F5, control goes to the logic of this function model, definition of the function model. I need not debug the source code of the function model. I'm not interested in that. So I'll say what F6. So internally that source code will be executed. So when I say F6, done, it is also doing same as what unpack. It has prefixed what, it has concatenated what some 3 zeros. Okay, so I'm getting the required data. Done. So I got the sales orders of the given customer. So only this customer has got the sales orders. Fine. Now here also this is my basic list. How to generate the heading for the basic list? We have handled the event called as top of page. Similarly, I got the secondary list now. What is the index of this secondary list? This is the first secondary list. What is the index of this one? So in order to generate the heading for the secondary list, we have an event called as top of page during line selection. So I'll handle an event called as top of page during line selection. Top of page during line selection. I'll just give some message. I'll start from 20th space. I'll just give something about sales orders. Sales orders. I'll give some color for this. Color 1. Okay, color 1. None. Save it. Check it. Done. Acha, I'm sorry. Acha. How many? This event is for secondary list. Na? How many secondary list we can have? 20 secondary list. I want this only for the first secondary list. So what I'll do inside this event, I'll check for what the system field what LSIND. Okay, LSIND when one. So inside this event, SY-LSIND will store the index of the current list. Okay, current list. So here I'll say right end for case is what end case. So only for that particular secondary list one, this heading will be generated. Okay, for basic list, since we have only one basic list, I need not check for in list index. But since we will have up to 20 secondary list, I need to check for what list index. So when I execute, when I say F8, done. This is my basic list. I'll double click on somewhere here. Yeah, this customers doesn't have any sales orders. I'll double click on this John. I got the what? Sales orders. Here also you can give the headings. Sales order number, creation date, creation time, name of the person. Just like how I gave here, same thing you can construct there also. Okay, so this is your what? Second list one. Any questions in this part, please ask me. Yeah, one important thing when you're practicing in your laptop, see what is the customer range I gave? This one. If you copy paste as it is, if you copy paste as it is, and when you execute this in a laptop, when I try to display, you may not get any customers. Okay, so blindly you should not do copy paste. Check whether this range is there in your table or not. Right? What is the range here? I gave something like this. Yesterday I gave the range as 1000 to 1010. That is a different server. In that server, the range was something like that. But here, this is a different server. Here we don't have that range. So I went for to what KNM table. I went to KNM table. I've checked what is the data available. So based on that analysis, I am giving the range. So don't blindly copy paste the program and execute. You will get the message no customers. So check whether these customers are there in the table or not. Go to KNM table. Go to KNM table. First of all, you check whether the customers are there or not. How many customers are there? 298 customers are there. So when I execute, it is showing me the first 200 customers. So check the range. Based on that, you give that range in your program and practice. Okay. Similarly, when you go to VBA table also, check which customers are having the sales orders. Okay. So here if I remove this, it is showing how many sales orders 32,058, but I am not interested in this. What is the customer range I gave? I gave the customer range as what 1000010 to 1000080. So between that customer range only I want to check whether any sales orders are there. So what I did, I gave the filtration based on what customer number. If this field is not shown here, already we know how to filter. Settings fields for what? Selection you select from this. Okay. So I gave this between 1000010 to what? 1000080. Okay. Between this range, sorry, 1000010 to 10000 what? 80. So between this range, how many sales orders are there? 6 sales orders. So when I execute, all these 6 sales orders belong to only what? One customer. That's why when I'm doing the interaction, I double clicked on what? I double clicked on what? That 50 only, because I know that in the table only this 50 customer has got the sales orders. Done? Any questions? Please ask. Line 30. 31. Okay. What is the question? I'm sure. Let me read. No, customer length is not 18, Vamshi. In the table, customer length is character of 10. Customer length is what? Character of 10. Okay, so you want me to give 0 of 10, huh? Okay, so let's see what is the issue if I give 0 of 10. We will not get the data. See here. What Vamshi is saying is in the table, customer number is what? Character of 10. Okay, so you extract only 10 what characters. But here, when I'm displaying the data of the customers, when I'm displaying this field Punnar, I'm reserving how many spaces? 20 spaces. If I have not given this, yes, first 10 characters would be what? Customer number. But since I get 20, it will allocate what? 20 spaces for the customer. Now, depending on the database, okay, depending on the database, if I try to get only 10 characters, see what happens. I'll get only portion of customer number. I'll give 10 now. when I execute, okay, I'll put the breakpoint. Right, I'll double click on John. I'll go to desktop 3, then F5. Okay, V underscore Kunnar. Yeah, now you can see. If you observe this, SY-LISCL, this contains the content of what entire line. Now what you are saying, from this content of the entire line, we are extracting what 0 of 10, means starting from the index 0, extract what 10 characters. So when I say F5, what I got 1005050. Okay, 1005050. Done. I'm getting the sales orders now. Yeah, I'm using the conversion function. I got how many? I got, let's say F5. Now I'm getting, but the problem is not here. The problem will be there when you have character field. So how to show that? 1 second. You will have the problem. Let me check the data, then I can show you the problem. I'll go to contents. What is that? I'll go to VBAQ table. The problem will be there. One second. Okay. Okay. Let me try to give it this. Let me give the breakpoint here. I don't have relevant data to show that, but let me try. I think I can show it tomorrow when I use a different server. I'm in a different place now. Let me try this also. Okay, I got the data. Now I'll double click on this toys. Okay, I'll go to desktop 3. If I take SY-LSCL, okay, this is fine. V underscore Kunal is fine. Okay, I got this. I got this. This is also fine. One second. How can I show you? Just give me 2 minutes time. Let me check how can I show in this server. One second. This is my VBAK table. Just hold on. Can't show it here. I'm just checking the data. Just hold on. No, I don't have yet. Amshi, just wait for one day. We'll have the issue. Okay, I'll use a different server. The problem will come when you have the data like this. Suppose here, um, I can show it practically in the other server because I got that issue many times. The problem will be somewhere here. Suppose if you take this K11 table, how many cars are there? 298. Let me try to check here. Yeah. Suppose here, if you see this customer number, um actually, uh, Suppose, forget about the customer number field. Assume that there is a value, numeric value. Sorry. Assume that we have a numeric value, something like this. Forget about customer number. Okay. One second. Yeah. Suppose if you take this only, so can I say both the numbers are same? Forget about customer, it's a general value. Okay. I can say both the numbers are same. No? If you assume this is a numeric value, if you assume this is a numeric value, okay, both are what same now. There is doesn't matter if you have zeros before that now. Both will be what same. Yes or no? All of you. Okay, but in our KN1 table, if you take customer number, it is not a numeric field. It is what field? Character of 10. Character of 10. Okay, so if you take in customer number perspective, these two things are different. These two things are different because it is a character field here. This should be different. This should be different. If you assume this is a numeric value, yes, I can represent this number like this, or I can represent the same number like this. Both will be what? Same. But if it is a character field, you will have the issue. Okay. So what I can do is tomorrow, I'll be using a different server. There, you will have this issue. You will not get the appropriate data. Here I don't have the data. I'm using a different server. Is it clear, Vamshi? In your laptop, if you want, you can try it today. Uh, you will have the problem. If it is a character field, if it is a character field, these two are not same. These two are different. These two are different. If it is a numeric field, these two are what? Same. Okay. Anyhow, I'll show this issue tomorrow. The same example, anyhow, I'll show it in other server. There, if I give this 0 of 10, definitely we'll have a problem. So what I need to do is, how much width you are reserving, that much width only you have to extract. Okay, so just wait for one day. Remind me tomorrow before the class only, so that I can show it. Because tomorrow I'll take the class from the institute only. Today I didn't went to institute. Okay, so I'll use a different server, then you will get the issue there. Vamshi, is it clear? Just remind me before the class only, so that I can show it practically. Yeah, apart from this, any other doubts, others? Right, so rest of the part I'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, now we need to double click on the custom sales order, how to get the sales item. So what we have done earlier, to identify the selected value, I refer to a system field called as SY-LSIND. Now in these two lists, I'll use a different technique. We have a technique called as ID technique. We have another statement called as get cursor. So I'll be using that logic inside these two lists that I'll continue tomorrow. Right? Sure then. So I'll wind off. We'll discuss this part tomorrow and the rest of the program also tomorrow.